to Connect to Success on RVN TV, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break, where we talk to the power networkers of the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. I am your host, Ashley Owens, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everyone's still not hungover, because, you know, some of us are. But still, it's one of those days and one of those years where I think everyone's kind of revamping, regrowing, and doing new things. So cheers to everybody who wanted 2019 to die. Well, I have the pleasure and the privilege to have Mr. Gabe Schick on my program today. You were the first guest of 2020.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal. And you brought me some pretty awesome surprises.
I hope so.
I'm excited to go through that. So, Mr. Gabe Schick, you are an insurance producer. Why not insurance broker or insurance consultant? Why producer? How is that something that you put on to your title?
That's, I guess, the official title that the state of New Jersey gives me.
I thought it was fancy because of what you brought today, but no.
No,
okay.
It's the official title of an insurance agent.
Okay.
And it's interchangeable with insurance broker, insurance agent.
But you're like the cool insurance broker, like the cool insurance agent.
I don't know.
It
depends who you ask, I guess. But
well, you and I met through a program that we're both involved in, which is the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network.
Yeah.
So you are a veteran.
Yes.
Can you explain more about your service?
Sure. Yeah. Marine veteran. I served from 1995 to 2000. Yeah. I was in the Marine Aviation Wing. Marine Air Wing, and I worked on F-18 fighter jets. I worked on the engines, and so it was a technical mechanical job, and I saw the world as a result. So it was a good time. I mean, it was also sort of a low period where there wasn't a whole lot going on in terms of conflict. So, you know, I essentially just kind of lucked out with the timing. You know, wherever we deployed was really more of training missions with other countries, with Japan and Australia, Korea, a lot of our allies.
Right. Now, was this the first job that you had after coming out of the military? When you retired?
No, not initially. No, I bounced around a bit. I worked for an airport.
Oh wow!
In San Diego.
Staying in the same field.
Exactly. It was an easy transition. You know, the airport swiped me up pretty quick. It was actually a VIP terminal in San Diego.
So did you ever fly VIPs?
No, I never got the chance to fly in the F-18 or any of the Learjet, Gulfstream type of corporate aircraft, you know?
Right.
Never lucked out that way, but
damn it.
It was still cool to be working on them and around them.
Right, so now you have a family. Because we were just talking about hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how many, do you have kids?
I do.
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters.
Oh, God bless.
Yep,
Are they teenagers or youngins?
10 and 12.
Still up, they're creeping up.
Yeah, they are.
How are you doing,
12-year-old.
Dad?
I'm hanging in.
Which is why you're tired.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And how long have you been with your wife?
Well, we met in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
So we met in San Diego back in 2000 and moved east together.
Oh, lovely. And now are you both from here?
She's originally from New Jersey. I'm originally from Pennsylvania.
What part of New Jersey?
Hamilton. Which is where we both live. So.
That's great. So she lives in her hometown now.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when it comes to insurance, right? So a lot of the times, especially with different markets and heavily saturated markets, right? You've got the stereotypical, real estate agent, insurance broker, financial advisor, things of that nature, right? I've had a lot of fantastic people that come on that have something different about them. So with you and something that is such a common field to be involved in, how are you different in that way? Like, what do you bring to the table to people, and how can people rely on you to help them?
Well, I think one of the key differentiating services, excuse me, that I bring to the table is the fact that I am licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania on both the commercial and the personal property casualty insurance side. So, you know, I tend to be valuable for business owners and who may have businesses established in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, or maybe they've got a home in Pennsylvania, a primary home in Pennsylvania, and a shore home at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
Where they've essentially, there's different markets for both states. The laws aren't all exactly the same. The insurance laws don't follow identical form. Mm-hmm. So part of my job is really to, understand the different coverage needs pertaining to the different coverage laws and so on and so forth. So I feel like that's where I can be a valuable asset for folks who own property in both states, or businesses in both states.
So I'm sure with your military background, though, you've got a very, especially since you fly planes, that you're...
Well, I didn't fly.
You didn't fly. You worked on.
Right.
Okay, got
Correct.
it. Sorry. But that is a very technical kind of position to be in. So I would assume that when you work with your clients, you have that very straight focused, breaking down all the options, looking at everything that's there, and being very due diligent. Is that kind of what?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would think from your background, that's what you need.
Yeah, it's attention to detail, which is what the military is all about,
Yeah.
right? It's dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure there aren't coverage gaps. And so on an airplane, it was like, okay, I need to check this jet before it takes off to make sure there aren't any leaks or, broken components on the plane before a pilot takes a $32 million jet up into the air and puts his life at risk, right?
Yes, but now you're working with people who their lives are just as expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also stand out pretty well because you brought me a gift today, kind of. Can you show me what you brought? Can you
Yeah,
show the people
I'd
what you
love
brought?
to.
Awesome, go for it.
All right.
Excited. Sean's in the back going, oh my God, so much noise. So, Gabe, explain to people what's going on.
All right. So, music is a passion of mine.
Yeah.
I've always performed in different realms, in different
Venues, avenues.
venues,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I have what we musicians call the music bug.
Okay.
I have to have it in my life, and I've always struggled with, tying my passion of music in with the insurance career. Mm-hmm. So one day a light bulb just sort of went off, and I wrote this insurance song titled "Insurance Man."
Yeah.
And
I love it so much.
It really conveys a lot of all insurance agents.
Right.
There's little nuances of the struggle, but also it's written in sort of a comical type of way.
Well, now I have to hear it. Would you love to play it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll certainly.
I'm excited.
It's about 2 minutes long, so I don't...
think Sean will let me know if we're
Okay,
cutting it
all right.
close. This is very exciting.
Insurance man, minimizing risk like no one can. Home, auto, business, and renters too. Covering your assets is what I do. It's a perilous world and I've got a plan for you. Insurance man, closet full of suits and shades of black and tan. Fire, wind, water, theft, and litigation woes. No matter what the present or future holds, if there's a likelihood of danger, a threat of loss, I'll find the best policy company and cost. Insurance man, minimizing risk like no one can. On the road or in your home, there's no safe place. Life is a marathon and not a race. A prudent, patient advocate who with you will stand. I want to be your number one insurance man. Insurance man. Finding gaps in legal traps across the land. Apples and oranges are two different fruits, but comparing the two is a common pursuit. Your pot of gold, your biggest fan. Well, won't you let me be your insurance man? Insurance man, insurance man. Minimizing risk like no one can. Home, auto, business, and renters too. Covering your assets is what I do. It's a perilous world and I've got a plan for you. It's a perilous world and I've got a plan for you. All right, I botched the end.
No, I would never have known you botched the end.
It was a botch.
This is the best interview we've ever had.
Awesome.
Sorry to everybody in 2019, but this kind of crushes it. So, okay,
Thank
so
you.
now you have a video with this out, right?
I do.
Yeah. You want to put that down?
Yeah.
Go for it. So with the video, how you been getting engagement? Like, what has it been like for you?
I have. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah.
You know, encouragement,
Yeah.
especially from insurance industry folks. You know.
Because it can be regimented, it can be a lot of compliance issues, there can be a lot of things, right?
Exactly.
Right, so this is kind of your creative way of putting your personality into it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So when people reach out to you, what do they say?
I've heard really, really incredible things. Like this is the greatest, you know, in insurance related video we've ever seen. You know, I belong to a couple different insurance like think tank groups that I posted it to, and it really went off the charts.
Oh man.
You know, which is a national. It's kind of that group is a national group, so it's, you know, I've heard from folks from California, from Texas, from Oklahoma.
Wow.
You know, all over the country, just saying, "Wow, this is really," and not just men. I mean, you know, the title is Insurance Man, but
it's yours. Like that's your song, right? I can say insurance woman, it can be insurance person,
Yeah.
whatever. But this is your insurance.
And
man.
I've had a lot of insurance women professionals who have, you know, it's been across the board. It hasn't just been men; it's been women too who have said, "This is great." You know,
This is so wonderful.
because they can relate. You know, it's very relatable for not only you know, insurance professionals, but also just the general public.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. So when somebody calls you, essentially, when they're calling you, what problem are they having?
It's essentially rates. You know, price.
Are they shopping for price?
A lot of people, yeah, I
Really?
would say the majority are. It's price that is the impetus to get people to call and search for options.
And so how do you engage with them in that way? So if someone's calling you for price and you know that they're shopping, why should they pick yours? Or pick to work with you?
Yeah, I try not to focus too much on price. I mean, obviously it's important, but you know, you hear everyone say don't sell on price.
Right.
It's a no-no. But at the same time, you know, everyone's cognizant of it. But I do really try to sell the value that I can bring, which is essentially, you know, making sure that people are properly insured and
Right.
have what they need.
Amazing.
So
I think that's the best part. And plus, do you ever go into a meeting and just say, "Oh, and by the way, I'm the insurance man.
Let me whip out my guitar."
Would you like a picture?" You'll get a lot of feedback. Well, when we return, we're going to talk to Gabe more about his tactical tips and practical takeaways, especially because now I strongly think you should go and just bring your guitar everywhere with you, because you would exactly be the person you should be. So we'll stay tuned. We'll be right back, and you'll be talking to Gabe about his networking tips. Stay tuned.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write. The ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, We take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me. Thanks, Liz. A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality.
Everybody, welcome back to Connect to Success with me, your host, Ashley Owens. It is 2020. I have the pleasure and the privilege of interviewing Gabe Schick, who's the insurance man. Forget insurance producer. There's no longer this long-ass title you have right here. Forget it. I'm over it. It's insurance man. But I would love to learn more about how, because you're in the military and I work with Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network. When it comes to networking in general, there can be some kind of discrepancy between being a civilian and being a veteran, meaning like there's a little communication style is different, actionable activities are different, and the way that you view how to network can be different. So can you explain to me how, when you got out of the military and then going into the workforce, what your networking style, what you thought it was, and then how you've kind of shifted that? Mm-hmm. So anybody who's watching who's doing something similar or wants to get into insurance that's also a veteran can learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that just sort of loosening up the tie, so to speak, and trying to lose the rigidity that the military is so adept at providing, its members. But really just loosening up, and it does take some effort.
Do you think you need permission to loosen up? Meaning, I know when I have to make a hard decision and I'm kind of waffling between the two, sometimes I need the permission of someone to, not permission, but the validity of being able to do that.
Right.
So especially because you guys have been through, you take orders. Mm-hmm. Maybe having somebody else who's been in that situation say like, no, loosen up. Like, here's how to do that. Was that something that happened that helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network, shout out to those great folks.
Me.
You.
Just kidding. No,
really
it's Alex and it's Joe and it's Erica Webster, because I had her on the show.
Yeah.
My God, without a good interview.
She's killing it.
Incredible.
Yeah,
she's a beautiful soul. I love her.
Yep, absolutely. So I feel like that has been instrumental.
Because loosening up can be subjective.
Right.
Maybe what tips would you give them to finding the right people to talk to? Maybe what kind of communities they should be a part of? Like, what was your journey like?
Well, part of it is just kind of jumping in and losing some of the anxieties and finding, groups out there that can be supportive. Mm-hmm. And, we're both involved in the Greater Philadelphia Veterans Network as an example. Mm-hmm. I would venture to say it's probably one of the greatest business veterans type of group out there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any others exist. I'm sure they do, but and maybe just finding one of these groups, networking groups that cater to the veterans, and once you just get yourself out the door, I feel like that's the hardest part, right? Just getting yourself out the door and into one of these rooms where it's a room full of strangers. Mm-hmm. You have no idea who you're going to run into. There's that anxiety. Mm-hmm. I get the anxiety anytime I know I need to, push myself in the door and start networking with people. It's just sort of like kick yourself in the rear end and get in there and do it. And I feel like once you pass through that portal,
it becomes easier.
It's like you're here. Okay. All right. Now you know what you got to do. You just start
Start small little bite-sized pieces, get to the next step, walk into a room. You don't have to command the room, but you do have to mingle in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'll typically try to target maybe someone in the room who also looks uncomfortable and anxious.
The other wallflowers, that's right.
Exactly. And maybe start with them if I don't already know someone in the room.
Right.
I feel like that helps. Like it's almost sort of like a practice round.
Right.
Where you just start getting yourself talking and engaging with whoever, you don't.
And now how do you maintain those relationships?
It seems kind of easier to do nowadays with all the different LinkedIn options, and I mean obviously the business cards are a great way to reconnect with people after an event. Mm-hmm. But now with LinkedIn or with cell phones, that's another great strategy, is just to say, oh, hey, let me give you a call, or if they're willing to provide their cell phone number, or if they don't have a business card. Because a lot of times it seems crazy, but I can't tell you how many times I've been to these networking events where people don't have business cards.
Yeah.
You're like, well, what's your cell? And you've got your cell, you just plug in the information, you send them a quick call, and now you've got each other, stored in each other's cell phones.
One of the things I do, I typically don't bring a ton of business cards with me to networking events. What I end up doing is, if it's a really good conversation, we take out both of our phones and I say, when can we meet? Mm-hmm. And just throw it on the phone.
Get it on the calendar.
Get it on the calendar, because we both have calendars on our phones. Just do it.
Definitely.
I think it's important to do that. But yeah, definitely to your point, I think there's an anxiety that always comes with networking. There is a part of you that feels like you have to sell, right? And I feel like that is, it can be disjointed in a way, because at the end of the day, no one gives a shit about what you do.
Exactly.
They really care about who you are as a person, and if they want to. No one goes to an event to buy, but everyone goes to an event to sell.
Right.
So where do you think in your industry, besides the wonderful Insurance Man song, that you as a person differentiate? Like, what can people expect when working with you as a person? Not necessarily the credentials that you have or the experience that you have, but how can people feel comfortable with you?
I feel like trustworthiness is huge, probably one of the biggest factors in my industry, because folks are purchasing intangible products. Nobody knows what disaster could strike 10 years, 5 years from now. So it's really it's a roll of the dice, which I think is different than a lot of products that consumers buy, right?
Right.
It's just this element of the unknown that revolves around the insurance business. So, having clients trust that I will do what I say, and we'll give it my best go to make sure that they're insured properly. I think that's probably the most critical element.
I think so too.
So
if you could give your top 3 tips regarding networking, what would those be?
Top 3 tips. I would say it helps to be assertive and outgoing. Whether or not you are, sometimes you just gotta play that role, and as I said before, just get yourself out there, right, and make yourself do it. Another tip I would say is like you said, don't go in there to a networking event with the premise of selling. I really try to just be myself and be personable and find non-business topics to talk about, right, at least at first. Because like you said, nobody really gives a crap.
I can get away with a lot on this show.
Exactly.
Right,
so,
yeah.
and I'm picking up on that. That's why.
They haven't kicked me off yet. So your third tip.
My third, look for industry associations, or there's a lot of different business-to-business networking groups that exist that can really help. I don't want to mention any specifically, but like the BNIs and the LATIP groups and Chamber of Commerce's, it's one thing to purchase a Chamber of Commerce membership, but it's a whole nother thing to actually go
Yep.
to these scheduled events that they have every month. And I feel like once you get yourself into those events and meeting people, then they get to know you. But it takes time.
Yeah. So do me a favor, look into this camera and tell people how they can find you.
Okay, you could find me. I pretty much give the world my cell phone, which is 609-240-1767. That's a New Jersey phone number. And then I am also accessible via email. For sake of television, the email I like to use is save@agentgabe.com, SAVE@agentgabe.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Gabe, and thank you for serenading me this morning or this afternoon, whatever day it is.
Thank you, Ashley.
And I'd love to have you on the show, so thank you for being here.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned in the next 15 minutes when I interview my next guest on Connected Success with me, Ashley Owens, 12:30, 1 o'clock on Thursdays during your lunch break, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining. Bye-bye.